Hey guys, Eddie hates walking here. That's a lie. I love getting my steps in. Normally through running, but I do walk as well. Pokey walker type beat. But more on that later. Why are you talking about steps, Eddie? Isn't this a channel that talks about media? This isn't a health is wealth channel. Yes, you would be correct on that. But it's because today we're going to be talking about The Long Walk, a movie that came out a week or two ago, directed by Francis Lawrence, adapting the 1979 Stephen King novel of the same name. And excuse my language, but holy shit, what an experience. I feel like every time I experience something Stephen King related, whether it be book or adaptation, it's a great time. And while of course everyone knows his supernatural work such as It or The Shining, The Long Walk sets itself apart initially by not presenting itself as one of these works, at least not in its marketing. I first was introduced to its premise through the one trailer I saw going into this, which I actually reacted to on the reaction channel, Eddie Hates Reactions. Go subscribe if you want to see my early thoughts on media trailers and some music reactions as well. It hooked me quite quickly off of that one trailer alone. It's a simple story, and the trailer actually did a pretty great job setting up the synopsis for the movie, which it's a simple story. There's a big old group of young men, teens actually, walking, and they keep walking. They stop walking, boom. Now why are they walking, Eddie? Surely someone wouldn't just do it for the meme with such big consequences behind it. Well, it's because they are promised a wish. Some real Peter Pan shit. So even though you don't actually have to sign up for said walk in this world, the pressure to sign up, whether it's internal or external, is just so much that no one doesn't sign up to get chosen for this walk. Now, the actual walk's purpose, not for the individuals participating, but for the rest of the country, is an event to promote the government. Propaganda. And sure, hard work and stuff, but let's be real. It all leads back to propaganda. And we'll probably talk more about this later, but it's the individual's response to this propaganda and questioning of it that really stands out to me throughout the film. And yeah, it's pretty simple. Keep walking, don't stop, get a wish, hopefully. Shit happens, movie starts, movie ends. Not gonna spoil unless I do a spoiler section later, but I will warn you beforehand. The movie does a good job opening. It practically drops you into the walk. It doesn't bother you with any exposition. It's really like you run into someone and they go, walk with me, because they're in a hurry, and they just tell you as they enter the destination. That's the whole movie, actually. Also, side note, not sure when to drop this, so I'm dropping this here. In the lead up to the film's release, I saw a group of lucky people got to see it early, but they had to walk on treadmills the entire duration of the film. And if they slowed down or stopped, I believe they had to leave. I love that. Low key, can we get theaters specially made to be like that? Because when I'm in my own home, I watch a lot of anime and sometimes even movies, sometimes even playing games while on a walking pad. Because I'm already doing it. Why not get extra steps in, extra calories burned, whatever. Some good old benefits for something that I'm going to do regardless. You don't have to really go out of your way to do anything extra because I'm already going to play this game. I'm already going to watch this anime. So, why not step instead of laying down? I feel like this would be so beneficial for people who need a fun way to spice up their exercise. And yes, walking is an exercise. I know I'm a runner at heart, but I've seen so many people lose hella weight just walking. This would go crazy. Now, obviously, if it's a movie I totally care about and am invested in, I want the proper sit-down theater experience. But if it's a random-ass B movie or this specific case where it's just actual immersion, let me get my steps in. Once again, low-key. Is this going to be the future of 4D movies? Like you're running from a dinosaur in the next Jurassic Park movie or fucking dodging anime attacks when the Chainsaw Man movie comes out? Might be onto something. But let's get back to the topic at hand. In terms of presentation and cinematography, it's nice seeing a film where location doesn't change. I guess, yes, it technically does. We see all sorts of locations from the point of view of a road, and that does do a good job painting an in-depth picture from the sidelines within this limited scope of what this dystopian society looks like. But it's still all on road, on this singular walk, yet it's still engaging through its dialogue and pacing. And stakes, of course. It just does an excellent job balancing these different moments and tones, sprinkling in those crazy ass moments as you go farther and farther into the movie. And those crazy ass moments are obviously me referring to when people stop walking. I really like how they do these moments not only for storytelling, but it doesn't undersell its impact by trying to make up for it with extra guts and gore or any over-exaggeration. It's raw, it's real. They make sure you feel the weight of every single death. I would almost describe it as respecting the death in the movie, as if it's real, if that makes sense. I think it really lends itself to the overall lingering tension in the film, reminding us that none of these good moments, the mundane conversations, the sharing of deep secrets, the goofy jokes they make, none of it is forever. and it's scary because of how raw it is. I actually fucking felt like I was there. Obviously not for real, but I felt my heart beating, you know, I felt the tension, I felt the sadness, I felt the emotions. It's a really immersive film if you let it be. Is a short friendship, one doomed to end in heartbreak, better than no friendship? If I had to sum up a question to think about during this movie, it would be that. Like, if I was a fucking English teacher assigning an assignment, that would be the class discussion, you know? Is this friendship where win or lose is going to end in tragedy? Is it worth it, or is it better to not have the friendship? And it's like that, you know, it's better to have loved and lost than never have loved at all type of question. And you get the fucking optimist of the class and the pessimist to talk together. I think that's a really good topic to take away from this movie. And it just goes to show how well thought out these interactions are, which leads me to my next topic. Next, I want to talk about the characters in general. This movie has a diverse cast from different backgrounds, which makes for pretty entertaining interactions throughout. And it's also always cool seeing how characters are written as a pack when the whole pack is going to die. I mean, obviously one of them won't, but basically all of them are going to die. You see this in war movies. You see this in horror movies. You see this in other movies, and you see this in Greek tragedies. Although I am more referring to the examples where the group knows they're going to die, as opposed to a Greek tragedy where the characters don't necessarily know they're going to die, but the audience knows that they're all going to die or some sort of fucking crazy shit's gonna happen. But specifically in the case of, okay, none of us are making it out of this, and seeing the cope and the dynamics, the psychological aspect, especially here in The Long Walk. You could teach a fucking seminar with this as an example. Humans are just crazy creatures, bro. They are all supposed to be against each other, and it's better not to make friends because you're gonna lose them, and just from a tactical point of view, there's no gain from it. But despite that, the cast gains a sense of camaraderie and sometimes even help each other out, which I really enjoyed because it fills you with a bit of hope. It shows you the best of humanity, if you ask me, that despite the odds, we can still perform these acts of kindness. And this is another example of just things in media that I love seeing. The indomitable human spirit, despite the odds being against us. Even if this doesn't make a difference in the long run, just me doing this right here is what I feel is right, sort of thing. And that's what they feel is right in the moments. I'm not saying everyone's a fucking saint in this movie. There's actually some assholes, but I took away the more positive stuff. I felt like an optimist while watching this movie, which is not usual for me. Normally I'm the dickhead that comes out thinking the worst, but you know, sometimes we grow and change as people. And that's not even mentioning the physical toll that the walk has on their bodies, although they do go hand in hand. But you know, as time goes on, we see moments where that tiredness leads to stamina loss and fucking stumbling and micro sleeps, which ultimately leads back to those mental aspects like extreme paranoia and whatnot. I don't need to do a fucking deep dive on why walking nonstop for days is hard, guys. Just trust me. I just bring it up because it's intriguing seeing how differently each character responds to this ongoing trauma. Even the way the characters walk is a part of them at times, if you ask me. I don't know how intentional they were choosing their walking form, but I was paying attention. And I think it's just another little sprinkle of character in each of them. And outside of the walkers, we get a couple of characters like the main character's mom, who I think adds a lot in her few moments, especially for the personal journey of the main character. There's also the guards who kill the walkers when they fuck up. And then there's the main villain, if we want to call him that, or antagonist. He's probably the weakest part of the film for me, but his role fills what it needs to fill well enough. You know, I didn't need much from him in the first place. He works as a cog in the wheel of this movie, ironically enough, because in this movie he is the wheel itself. He's not a cog, but it's fucking wordplay, okay? I'll start off this next section by saying pacing, pretty much perfect in my mind. I think the only point of contention is depending on how you feel with the ending, but I'm not talking about that right now. Now, I don't know how it feels from book readers' point of views, but I'll just say this, with movie adaptations since the dawn of time, it's unavoidable to change at least something. You cannot have a perfect one-to-one adaptation. This is not a manga to an anime. This is very wordy to very visual. And no matter how much dialogue you put in, you're gonna have to cut something out. Take it from a fan of the Monogatari series, an anime that takes from a book and is a great adaptation, by the way. Or a fan of like visual novels and seeing those adaptations. It's almost worse than books. But my point is, you know, if you tried to adapt it one-to-one, you'd have this fucking 24-hour movie. And, you know, you just gotta cut something or change something. So I had to throw that in here as a precursor to what I'm going to say next. Because I heard that the ending of this book is different, but I didn't want to look deeper because I want to save that experience for when I read it. So yes, if you dislike some of the changes from the book, I hear you. But as a pure standalone experience separate from any media before it, which is what my point of view on the story is as of now, it was really neat. and I took a lot away from it. It's going to be extremely interesting to see how my perspective will change after reading the book, or maybe if my book experience has already changed from what it originally would be because I'm predisposed to it in some capacity through the film. I also assume in terms of how we view the societal plot in terms of the government, military propaganda, etc., is going to be different in a 2025 version of this story as opposed to the 70s when this book came out, and it was being written since like the 60s, I think. Regardless of the fact that The Long Walk isn't actually anchored in any set era, but you know what I mean. Authors are always going to be influenced by what's around them, I feel like. Like, for example, back then they had to deal with Nam, or other words. I was negative 34 when the book came out, so I wasn't exactly around. But now we have a lot of problems that to where The Long Walk can still be relevant, both in different and similar ways to how it'd be relevant then. Once again, I don't know exactly what political stuff or commentary is in the original and how much is this, but I'm assuming at least a lot of it was still in the book. I can't imagine it had none, you know. But for other changes, like I heard the book is 4 miles per hour for the walking instead of 3. Or something more significant like how many characters there are or who lives and dies and when and where and how. That stuff's a little different. That's more personal vision, I feel. Like a very personal view as opposed to the outside influences. Does that make sense? I don't know. I think I made sense there. I don't know. Who fucking knows? Now, as I mentioned, this section is more speculation since I'm avoiding anything that straight up talks about changes or the book in general since I still want to read it, which I don't know when I'll do, but it will be getting a review on this channel, so subscribe if you want to see my thoughts on the book. The last thing I wanted to bring up before the ending of the main portion of this video and getting to the spoiler section is the music. And honestly, I'm really ashamed to say this. I don't remember much of the sound design in general, which is on me. I don't know why, because normally it's a huge focus of mine. It could just be a case of sometimes something's done so seamlessly you don't notice, or maybe I just fucking wasn't as locked in as I thought I was. I don't know. The plot was so engrossing, man. So yeah, my bad, but on a second viewing, it definitely will be a point of notice for me. But I will say, at the very least, and this is why I saved it for the end because it's going to lead into the next section. No spoilers, but that final scene, if there is a scene you want the score to hit, it is that scene. And it complemented that moment and it's leading to the final credits unfathomably well. Holy shit. So for all my mistakes of not remembering much audio-wise, it still lives rent-free in my head for its part in the extremely impactful ending. Now, that's it for the basic review. I should probably mention by now, I think you guys should watch this. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Is it a perfect movie? No, but it is a fucking great one. Here's like the short version, I guess. The Long Walk is a story of perseverance, of friendships, beginning and end. Life will end for all of us one day, but as long as you keep on walking, it might last a little bit longer. That went crazy, didn't it? That was bars. Subscribe. We're gonna talk spoilers for a couple minutes, so if you've seen the movie, stay. If you haven't, goodbye and come back when you've seen it. Alright, spoilers. Don't say I didn't warn you. I only want to talk about one thing, and because I did want to mention the ending a little bit. This is something I had to dance around in the other part of the review, because I know King likes his supernatural elements. And I don't think this is actually that, but after our winner wins and shoots Mark fucking Hamill, and it kind of cuts to all the cheering being gone as he's walking in the distance, this very open-ended ending. I don't think it's actually supernatural, by the way, but I like how it's presented in a unrealistic way, because like people can't, like, all these people didn't just disappear, you know, all this shit didn't just leave. But I like to think this is his point of view from his mind that's so broken already and so done and so like, oh, I did this and, you know, where the hell are we gonna go from here? And he's just blocking it out as he walks in the fucking night. I don't know what I'm getting at in this section, but I don't know and why I wanted to tie it back to the supernatural stuff. But you can tell this is written by a guy that does like his unrealisticness, because to write a good mind break, I think you have to get a little nutty, a little unrealistic with it. So I think I just wanted to bring that up to kind of relate this to like how I can see this as the same author as these other works. I don't know. I didn't really script this part out that well, but I did want to touch on it because I really love how it was presented. Now, once again, I'm talking all this stuff about the author specifically, but I don't fucking know how different this is from the original book. Now, despite that, though, I assume that the ending still had some good mindfuckery in it, so I don't know. I'm just going to hope for when I read the book. Also, this is what I also kind of mentioned earlier. It wasn't unexpected. Like, I kind of saw the ending one of two ways. You know, either this character dies once we got to that point. So I wouldn't say abrupt, but it does feel that way, which I actually like. I know some might not like that, but the movie just slaps you in the fucking face, doesn't give you any time to process your emotions, and then you gotta go home now. You gotta leave with all that baggage. So I actually really enjoyed that whole lead up because it is kind of fast. That is the real like slope down to the end. But I think it works for this movie for sure. So yeah, that's what the spoiler section was, just about the ending, and I kind of like really shittily talked about it. But look, man, I haven't fully processed this movie. I will admit it. I haven't had enough downtime in my day-to-day life since, well, I'm recording this on a Tuesday. I watched this shit on Saturday. It's been a few days, but I haven't actually had the chance to sit down and really think about it besides typing this review up earlier today. And even then, I've just thought of so many things that I didn't necessarily talk about in this review, but just so many things that I just sort of haven't thought about at all these last few days. So I definitely want to see it again soon. Hopefully I'll get the chance, but I still have to watch him and a couple other movies that I really wanted to talk about and review, and just anime and all this other shit. So, you know, kind of a busy guy, but I really did enjoy my time here. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Were you between? Are you a book fan? Are you a movie fan? Are you both? I think this movie has some really interesting dialogue around it. So, I'll talk to y'all in the comments if you want to talk about anything. And until next time, subscribe. Goodbye. Peace.